What's up guys, Zero Skater here, and today we're going to be doing a box opening for the new Marvel Redemption Row set. I'm really excited to crack this thing open. I know a lot of people have been already playing it on TTS and whatnot, and I've heard a lot of talk about some shifts in the meta, so to speak. So I'm really excited to actually crack this open and give it a shot myself. So we're going to be opening up that box for you today on camera, and I hope you all enjoy it. But as always guys, be sure to attack the like button if you enjoy the video, and subscribe for more Unmatched content. And with that said, let's head on over and crack open the new Marvel Redemption Row. Alright, so here we go, checking out the new Marvel Redemption Row set for Unmatched. So we'll take a quick look at the box here first before we peel off the plastic. Got the cool side panels as always, classic with any Unmatched product. So in this set here, I'm sure everybody already knows, but we have Ghost Rider, Luke Cage, and Moon Knight. So the first wave of Marvel coming here alongside Hell's Kitchen, which we will be getting pretty soon. It was delayed a little bit, but Redemption Row, super exciting. I've heard a lot of good things about these fighters being really fun, but also very powerful, so we're going to have to see how that works out. But here's a couple of the new cards as well as the new map, and let's go ahead and crack it open. Also, anybody who ordered this early did receive a free Achilles heel foil promo card. So I'll show that off in a second as well. And I have actually managed to avoid spoilers for this one for this pretty much the entire time. I did see a few little things at Gen Con, but for the most part this set I have not seen. So, cool rulebook here. Got very, very cool art. I'm sure Marvel fans are really going to love these sets. And Unmatched fans alike, you know, you can never complain about more Unmatched. So I'm sure everybody is very happy with these. Pretty standard rulebook. The new thing in this set is the items. So I know these items have preset locations on the board, and you randomly distribute the items, I believe, face down at the start of the game, so you don't know what the item is, but you know where the item is. And then once you run into it, you get to flip it over, and you get to use that item optionally during your turn if you're on that space. So, going to be really interesting to see how the items work out and how powerful they end up being and how they shake things up, but it'll give people a lot to think about for tournaments when it comes to the map bans. So then we take a look here, we can see the health dials. So, Moon Knight up top, then we got Luke Cage and Ghost Rider, and then the item tokens down at the bottom there. So it looks like some of these items give you +1 attack or defense if you use it while you're on that space. And I don't know what the scheme ones do yet, but excited to see what they are. In terms of sidekicks, it looks like Luke Cage is the only one with the sidekick there because it's got 2 dials. All the others are just solo. And then we see the new map here. So it looks like a pretty standard map. Obviously the new gimmick is just going to be the items. And this one's called the Raft. So we got this cool circular area in the middle. It's kind of like, this kind of reminds me of Hierot a little bit, because you got like your center area inside, and then you got these paths that surround on the outside. So gives me Hierot vibes. But it's going to be really interesting, not only for the map layout, but as well as the items to see how that plays out. And then, of course, on the back, you have your more easily visible art version with the rings, which I'm not personally a huge fan of playing on these, but it is cool to be able to see the art a little bit better. I think just for ease of play, the circles work out a little bit better, but that's just my preference. Alright, and then we got the rivets here, of course. We'll just set those aside. And looking at the figures, so we got Moon Knight here to start. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Very cool looking figure. They just knock it out of the park with these minis every time. I know it's perfect timing too with the new Moon Knight show coming out pretty soon. People are going to love being able to play with this deck. Very cool looking. And then we got Luke Cage. Pretty tough looking dude right here. I love how you can kind of see the bullet holes in the chest there. And kind of some cuts on the shoulder. They put a lot of detail in these things. Wow, and then this Ghost Rider one. So I have actually seen the Moon Knight and the Luke Cage one before, but this Ghost Rider one, I did not see this one in person. I got a sneak peek when I was at Gen Con last year in, I believe it was September, of some of the early Marvel stuff, but me avoiding spoilers, I tried to keep it to a minimum. But of course I couldn't resist, you know, taking a little bit of a sneak peek. But yeah, this Ghost Rider figure, very cool looking. And then, as I mentioned, looks like only one token here, which is going to be Luke Cage's sidekick. I believe it was Misty Knight. So, I like the color scheme. I like the yellow. It looks really nice. So, with me avoiding spoilers, I have actually not seen these decks yet. So, what I'm going to do is open them up from the plastic right here. And then I am going to go play the decks and stop the video. And then I will come back after I have actually tried them out and we will go through showing off all the cards. So, let's go ahead and open them up. I know everybody loves, you know, the sound of the plastic being opened up, as well as if you're doing it yourself. I know, at least me personally, the smell of a new board game, as weird as that is actually really cool. Oddly enough, if we look here, I just opened up the Moon Knight deck, and we see a Luke Cage and a Ghost Rider, looks like ability card. So I wonder if they just accidentally put them all in this one, or if I got a couple of extras. Let's find out. Yep, looks like Luke Cage here, just going right into the deck, no ability card. Interesting. And then Ghost Rider. Looks like same thing. Alright, I did not get any extra card backs. Sad day. Anybody watching this video who also got their Marvel set Redemption Row, let me know in the comments if you, when you opened it up, if all of your ability cards were with the Moon Knight deck, or if they were all in their respective decks. I would be interested to hear that. But there we go, we got everything opened up. So like I mentioned, I'm going to go play these, and then I'll be back to show off the cards. Before we do that though, I do want to show off, like I had said, that Achilles heel foil promo. Try and get it in different angles of the light here for you. So you can see all the silver kind of lightning coming off the heel there. Very cool looking. These foils are always really cool. and I can't wait to get my Invisible Man foil from my top 8 Summer of Legends tournament prize. So that should be hopefully shipping out finally. Restoration said they received them, so really looking forward to that. But yeah, this Achilles heel foil, very cool. So anybody who is lucky enough to order early should be getting one of these with their set. So mine, it was loose in the box, so it wasn't in any kind of packaging. So make sure you don't miss this when you open up your set. You wouldn't want to throw something like this away. But yeah, very cool. So give me a little bit, guys. I'm going to go play the set, and then I will be right back with the box opening. Okay, everybody, so I just got done playing the set here, and I will say I just had an absolute blast. We did a 3-player free-for-all, and it was just a crazy game. I was Moon Knight, and I did a huge hit onto Luke Cage for like 4 damage and one big boosted attack as Khonshu, and then Ghost Rider came in and blew everybody up for like 5 damage, and then Luke Cage just barely survived, and they both ended up teaming up on me because I had the most health. They killed me, and then Ghost Rider was able to kill Luke Cage just with his ability, but had to spend some of the Hellfire defending, and Luke Cage ended up winning it just barely, I think with 1 health remaining. So it was a crazy game. So much fun for a first playthrough, because at the same time I was seeing all of these cards and everything for the first time. So a lot of surprises, and it was a blast. So I highly recommend this set. It's very fun and balanced within itself, at least so it seems. I've yet to play them in 1v1s, but I will definitely be doing that soon. So let's go ahead and get into the cards as I mentioned. So first we have Moon Knight here. So really cool card back. I think this is probably my favorite card back of the new ones. And his ability, obviously he has 3. He cycles between Moon Knight, Khonshu, and Mr. Knight. And so as Moon Knight, at the start of your turn, you get to move up to 2 spaces, and then at the end you change to Khonshu, who gets +2 to all the attacks, similar to Big Alice, and also does not take effect damage. And then Mr. Knight gets +1 defense, similar to Small Alice. And so it just cycles through the 3. Really neat ability. It's going to be fun to figure out how that works. But as you can see, you have the 3 hero cards there. And then we have We're All in This Together. 3 copies of this defense card here. And then That's Why I Always Win. We have 3 copies of this. We have 3 copies of I'm Not Real. 2 copies of Travelers of the Night, I'm sorry. 2 of Madness Will Keep You Alive. 3 copies of Past and Present Intermingle. 3 copies of A Totally Sane Thing to Do. 2 of Let Your Insanity Guide You. 2 copies, That's the Part I Like. This is probably my favorite card in the deck. It's a really neat ability where if you win the combat, you look at the top 3 of your opponent's deck, and you get to actually discard 1 and return the other 2 in any order. So very disruptive and cool card. 2 copies here of Good Enough for Us. And then we have 2 copies of The Fist of Khonshu. And last but not least, Moon Knight does have 3 standard copies of Feint. And that's going to do it for Moon Knight. It's all about timing, your cards with your ability changes. And he's a very interesting character. His deck is kind of, I don't want to say bland, but the effects are pretty standard from what we've seen so far in the game for the most part. But the way that the whole gameplay is going to tie in with the ability really is what makes him interesting. So, pretty cool character overall, and let's move on and check out Luke Cage. Okay, so for Luke Cage here, I really love the color scheme on this card back as well. That blue and yellow gold just really go well together. So for the ability for Luke Cage, you're going to see that he takes 2 less combat damage from all attacks, and that includes if he does not play a defense card. So it's a automatic 2 defense value constantly, which is really, really cool. But that does only apply to Luke and not his sidekick Misty Knight, but Misty is ranged, so that is cool to see. So for the first card we're going to see is Power Man, 2 copies of this defense card here. Only a 2 value, but remember it is going to bump up to a 4, so pretty strong. Here's his signature defense, I think, Trash Talk, 3 copies of this. This card is crazy. It's like a feint, cancels the effects. It's also a 4 value feint because of the ability. And if you win the combat, you just end your opponent's turn, which is crazy good. Taking away actions is something we have not seen in this game yet. And then we have 2 copies of Skin Like Titanium. Here's the big attack, the Bigfoot Log, 2 copies of Sweet Christmas. Then we have 3 copies of Hero for Hire. Two copies of Get Paid. A lot of big attacks in this deck, as you'd expect from such a character as Luke Cage. 2 copies of Where's My Money. This is the scheme that I didn't know about in our 3-for-all, and you know, I got double attacked when I thought I was totally out of range. It was very cool. 2 copies here, Got Your Back, or Got My Back, Misty Knight. 2 copies of Daughter of the Dragon. Very powerful card here. Becomes a 6 if you're adjacent. We got 2 copies of Pushback. Kind of like a rending shot in a way. Lower value, but you can use it on defense as well. 2 copies of Still Standing. This card's crazy because it, in theory, creates an infinite loop, but you have to win the combat and get the effect off to do this. But then you can cycle these cards. And then we have 3 copies of Commanding Impact, which is a card we've seen before in Sinbad's deck as a one-off copy. So seeing 3 is pretty crazy. It's a very powerful card. And then we have 3 copies of Regroup, but this is actually the craziest Regroup because for one, it's a 3 boost value, and Regroup's usually 1 or 2, as well as if you use this on defense with Luke Cage, because of his ability, the 1 turns into a 3, so it's a lot easier to win the combat and get the draw 2 off of the defensive Regroup. So very cool. Luke is definitely a brawler. He plays a pretty straight up game. He's just going to go in there and beat you up and steal your money. So pretty cool, a lot of fun, and really looking forward to how he plays out in the meta. But let's go ahead and move on and check out the last one, being Ghost Rider. Alright, so here's Ghost Rider. A lot of orange and red and yellow in his color scheme. As you'd expect, there's a lot of fire going on. So, we see his ability is going to be, he starts the game with 5 Hellfire tokens, and whenever you maneuver, you can spend one of those, and if you do, you increase his move from 2 to 4, which is a lot of movement. And he may move through opposing fighters and then deal a damage to each one he moved through. So it's kind of like a Stallion Charge effect from Yanenga's card deck, and built into the ability is incredibly powerful. So really, really powerful ability, and we're going to have to see how that plays out. But here we have 2 copies, actually 3 copies of Stoke the Flames. Then we have 2 copies of Deal with the Devil. So his defense values are pretty low, but as we can see here, 3 copies Spirit of Vengeance. His offensive power is very high. So this one, after combat, you can spend a Hellfire to draw 2. So 5 value attack, draw 2 cards, potentially very strong. And then 3 copies of I Brought the Devil With Me. Some optional action gain there. This is the card that blew us all up in the 3-for-all, Blaze of Glory. 2 copies. After combat, spend any amount of Hellfire, deal that much damage to each fighter in Ghost Rider's zone, including Ghost Rider himself. So we were all in the same zone. He had full Hellfire, so everybody took 5. It was crazy. And then 2 copies of Chains of Hellfire. Just simply sets your Hellfire to 5. Full refresh. 2 copies of Hell Rides With Me. Here's the signature card for Ghost Rider here. 2 copies of Penance Stare. Can be incredibly powerful because you add the boost value of the opponent's card to this, and you can spend 2 Hellfire to do it another time. So can get up to, 9s if it's a 3 boost value card. Here we got 3 copies of The Wicked Will Burn. Kind of a momentous shift sort of card, but gains Hellfire instead of buffing the value. 3 copies of I Finally Escaped Hell. Three copies of Control the Demon. So this could be a 5 value versatile, which is incredibly powerful. Just its value is based on the number of Hellfire you have. And then we do have Feint here, but only 2 copies for Ghost Rider, similar to Bloody Mary. So we are starting to see more fighters without feints completely, as well as some fighters who have less than the full amount of feints with 2 copies. So pretty interesting. I know a lot of people have had concerns with Ghost Rider involving, the style of play where you just constantly maneuver all game and you never engage with the opponent. And I am definitely looking forward to testing that out because I know people kind of had a strong reaction with Wukong when he was first released with the clones. And I'm really interested to see if all the fuss is validated and that's a legitimately winning strategy, or if it's something you can do but it's really just suboptimal. So looking forward to testing it out myself, but we'll see what happens. I guess I should show off the Hellfire tokens as well. They all have slightly different art on them, but they're all pretty much a burning skeleton hand. So pretty cool. That's on the one side. On the other side, they're pretty much just blank. So you can keep track of the amount of Hellfire using the tokens. And then I'll also show off the item tokens, as the new map gimmick we know is the items. And in play, they were fun, they were cool to have there. They weren't like hugely impactful, but we have, let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. So the folding chair gives a +1 to attack or defense if you use it while you're on that space. We have the food tray, is the same thing basically as the folding chair. And the Electro Baton, but it's a +2 instead of a +1, so extra powerful. And then the scheme ones, you have the Secret Documents, which you discard your entire hand and draw 3, and that could be incredibly powerful if you have maybe 1 or no cards in your hand, but it definitely is speeding up your fatigue clock significantly, so kind of dangerous, high risk, high reward kind of effect there. Security Camera, you get to look at your opponent's hand and draw a card. So pretty cool. Getting a hand peek for some characters that don't normally have access to that could be pretty impactful. And the last one, Electrified Floor, is going to deal 1 damage to each fighter in your zone. And I believe that does include yourself because it doesn't say opposing fighter. It just says each fighter in your zone, and you obviously have to be in your own zone to use this token. So very good. I think for King Arthur, if you can use Command the Storms against somebody like Robin Hood, and then zap all the outlaws with this Electrified Floor, could be incredibly powerful play. So really looking forward to see how this map and those tokens work out for tournaments. Some people might be a little uproared, I would say, if we're going to allow this kind of stuff, but I think it's just part of the game. I don't think it's hugely impactful, more so than, let's say, the secret passages on Baskerville or the doors on Hierot, or the Hanging Gardens +1 attack buff for the high ground, but
we'll see how it goes. And then one more thing, if you look on the inside box side panels, we got some more artwork here that I'll show off. Figure if I'm doing a box reveal, I should show off everything that the box has to offer. A lot of really cool Marvel art. I'm sure all the Marvel fans are going to love this set. I personally had a blast, like I said, when I played, and I'm really looking forward to testing these out in a 1v1.
And then that's going to do it for the new Marvel Redemption Row Unmatched set. So again, really excited to try this out in a 1v1 setting and see how these characters feel against the rest of the current field. And for anybody interested in the set, I would highly recommend it. Even as a standalone set, like I said, it's really fun. And anybody who's concerned about the balance of the set, don't worry, you know, everything will be okay. There's always going to be good and bad matchups in Unmatched in an asymmetrical game such as this. So if anything becomes a real issue for tournaments and whatnot, of course, we will modify the format to accommodate and keep everything fair and fun for everybody involved. So don't worry, you know, just grab the set and enjoy it, because it's just a game after all, and they are really unique fighters and really interesting to play. So I'm really looking forward to getting more games in with them. But, you know, there's going to be a lot more Marvel to come, so if you're not a huge fan of this box, I'm sure there's going to be something you like in the upcoming ones, because we are going to actually have Hell's Kitchen coming up within the next couple of weeks. So very soon, guys. So looking forward to that one. And as always, if you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more of this kind of content. Let me know, again, if you like these box opening videos. I can continue to do them as I receive the sets, if there's a demand for it. So let me know down in the comments. As always, I enjoy reading the comments, and I'll try to respond to all of them as soon as I get the chance. So thank you all for watching. I'm ZeroSkater12, and I'll see you next time.